This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another, well, yes, sir. We got ourselves a game preview at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. We will be getting into game action once again in the 2019-2020 preseason after what feels like an instant, long week off, man. It's only been a few days since Friday, but it just feels like a heck of a long time ago since we last played a preseason game. There was a trip to Kelowna in there somewhere, and some Oilers news, and everything's going on. Yamamoto and Day back down to the minors, and yada, 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 yada. We've talked about the forwards making it. We've talked about the defense making it. We've talked about trades, waivers, goaltending, everything in between. But now we get ourselves game action once again tonight. Not sold if I'll be live streaming, so that's a question mark maybe tonight, as I do have some stuff I got to get done this evening. However, what we have to get to, a game against Arizona, the big news. I can't ignore it any longer. I'm going to just simply flick up the lineup, and I'll give you what you need to know about this. Bang, right there. There's your predicted lineup for tonight's game against the Arizona Coyotes. And do I need to read that top line for you? You know what? I need to read it for myself, I think. Draisaitl, McDavid, Kassian. Let's go over that one more time. Draisaitl, McDavid, Kassian. Okay, now let's go back. I make this slight comment at myself once in a while. Don't trust me. Well, you guys, this is the one I'm always going to harp back on because there's a reason I say that. I had a headline the other week basically saying that Connor McDavid will not play in preseason, not in all capitals, and here we are with 3 preseason games to go, and Connor McDavid's playing a preseason game. So, again, my apologies for getting that one wrong. See, don't trust me fully. Always try to double check your sources and such. That's what I do, so definitely make sure you do that as well. However, our top line is in action this evening. Let's go. So what we have to get to with that is obviously what are we expecting out of the top line of Draisaitl, McDavid, and Kassian for the first time in 2019-2020. Guys, if there is any question as to what to expect, it's pure domination. That's 100% what you got to be expecting tonight. There is nothing else you should expect from this line. Especially, I mean, it's Arizona, so I haven't been able to find what their lineup looks like. I don't know anything about that, so I couldn't tell you 110% what the Coyotes are going to line up like and how good they're going to be or how bad they're going to be, what their defense and goaltending situation looks like. But guys, this is Leon Draisaitl, who looked very good in that last preseason game against Calgary. And then you've got Connor McDavid getting his first action since April 6th. And then you've got Zach Kassian, who's just a little ball of hate, a little ball of wrecking ball, basically the big wrecking ball on this team up front. Goddamn, you got to hope for something, right? And then you get your second line in Gagner, Nugent-Hopkins, and Neal. Oh, yeah, okay, that line was pretty good. They scored a goal in the first game against Winnipeg, so we get to see them again as the follow-up unit, not as the top line, the follow-up unit to Draisaitl, McDavid, and Kassian. That sounds really good. Then you get into the third line. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one where, again, jobs are up for grabs here, but this is to all degrees is looking like an NHL lineup at this point for the Oilers. Karashian and Archibald on that third line. That third line, that's a grind it out, shut it down, score a couple of goals once in a while. Third line. So good. You know what? I'm excited to see what they bring, right? You've got 2 offensive firepower lines, right? I don't care what you think about Gagner. I don't care what you think about Neal, because if you like one, you're in the camp for the other kind of deal. And that second line is going to be firepower. The first line absolutely should go over there and roll over top of the Arizona Coyotes. And that third line is just going to be able to get out there, follow it up, win a faceoff, shut things down, and really make some dents on offense. And one thing we get to see is the faceoff percentage of Connor McDavid tonight. If somebody can track that, if I live stream, that would be phenomenal, because that is going to be a very key stat to watch. Has it improved under Dave Tippett? And then Chiasson, Cave, and Patrick Russell. So 2 guys that seem to maybe have gone and earned themselves jobs in Patrick Russell and Colby Cave. We're 3 games away from the start of the season, yes, but these guys look like they've very much so impressed our head coach and Dave Tippett, so that should show us good things are around the corner for both these two guys in terms of the Edmonton Oilers roster. Zap has to come up and join us because she's scratching at the door, and I don't like you guys listening to that as much as I don't like myself listening to that. So, the top 12 forwards look great. What you don't see in there is Anton Bertasov. He will get more games. Don't worry about it. We'll make sure to see him once or twice more this preseason, I'm sure. But it's getting down, right? We have, I think the math is 3 more forwards to cut, so there are some questions as to who we're going to cut. And everyone's saying cut Marcus Granlund. He's signed to a $1.3 million contract. So unless we put him on waivers, but I like what he brings on the penalty kill. He's a very solid penalty killer, so I think he's got himself a spot. He's just injured right now, so we have to play the cautious card with him, right? So that's forwards aside. What you need to know about the defense tonight, it's Klefbom Persson again. So for the third or fourth time this preseason, we get to see Klefbom and Persson. So that's good to see what they can bring. The note is Persson will go out there and lead that top power play unit. So Persson on a power play unit with McDavid, Draisaitl, and all of them. Yeah, he's going to do okay, I'd say. He'll do okay. Nurse Larson is your second pair. Well, ladies and gentlemen, is there really any question about this pair? This is pretty much looking like our second pair guaranteed for next, at least 20 games into the season or so, unless things really go awry for whatever odd reason. Now, the third pair is where it gets interesting because, guys, depending on what camp you are in, there's 3 schools of thought here. This is a pair that starts the year as the bottom 6. This is one of 2 guys will be on this team after training camp ends, or neither of these guys will be on the Oilers after training camp ends. There's about 3 camps. I'm trying to narrow it down. There's probably 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, but you understand where I'm going, right? There's 3 schools of thought to make it simple, and right now we get to see what this pair between Russell and Benning brings to the table this evening for us. And out of all 3 defensive pairs, I think that's the pair you got to look. This Chris Russell's first preseason game, he's been out with concussion protocol, percussion control. That doesn't work. It really doesn't. Long day in the warehouse, making sure that sheet metal gets where it's going. So Mike Smith will start his first preseason game as well. So Mike Smith gets his first action. He'll play the first 40 minutes of the game, and then Mikko Koskinen will take over for the final 20. So if you're an Oilers fan and we're up after 40 minutes and we're only up by a goal or 2, might want to just tune out and save yourself considering how Koskinen's performed so far. But at the same rate, it would be nice to see what Koskinen can feature up a goal or 2 going into the third period. Obviously, given that Mike Smith has a good game, that's kind of our asterisk on that we need to know. So, again, let's go quickly review what's kind of up for grabs in this game. It's another preseason game. It's our first taste of Connor McDavid. It's first taste of the top line in 2019-2020. That second line has to gel, has to get some production going, or else some good shifts on the ice at the very least. Kara, Sheehan, and Archibald, if they want to stick together and form that third line, they have to go out there and absolutely shut it down and maybe produce a goal or 2 themselves in what's going to be a tight contest. I mean, it's Arizona. They always play shutdown defense, even now that Dave Tippett's with us and not with them. Anyways, Chiasson, Cave, Russell. This is one which is going to really complicate things because Patrick Russell and Colby Cave both are fighting for jobs on this team, okay? So simple as that. They've got to go out there and keep those jobs that so far they're holding down at this point. However, Chiasson, I don't think you sign him to the deal you do to keep him on the fourth line. I think this is essentially a kind of roll night to see who he's going to gel with. He's played with a ton of different people this camp, so it matters who he gels with to find his role up and down the lineup, right? Obviously, if you don't have Gagner functioning tonight, he will elevate. He is the first player that will elevate all the way up to Nugent Hopkins and Neal's line. So Chiasson, that guy that played all over the lineup last year, he's going to do the same thing for the full preseason, and we're going to love him for it because that's what Chiasson does for us. And then, of course, Persson, he's got to produce on the power play tonight. Nurse Larson just got to look steady, Eddie, defense. And then Russell, we want to see what he's featuring this year, if he's improved anything. Not that we're expecting that, but we just need to know. And Benning's really got to come out and shut things down and get the job done. Or where? Ooh, Austin Matthews in some trouble. Get to Twitter, read about that. Anyways, Russell, we know Benning was my point before I read that Austin Matthews tweet by Bob McKenzie, but Matt Benning, he's in tough. He's got to find his job, he's got to find his role, and he's got to shut it down. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting him to step his game up, but whenever we say that, usually the Oilers let us down. So we're hoping to find the opposite tonight. And Mike Smith, we're just looking to see what we've got in our 1A, 1B goaltending duo between Koskinen and Mike Smith. A combined shutout like Dylan Wells and Stuart Skinner got in that Winnipeg game, that'd be mint. Anyway, guys, what I'm going to leave you with now is the fact that you should subscribe so as you get that notification if I do go live tonight. But what else you need to know is the simple fact that I'm predicting probably about a 5-1 victory for the Oilers this evening. I know one goal is risky. To call it one goal for the Oilers against is risky. But with Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen in net, I'm going to take my luck and I'm going to chance it again tonight on a 7. 7 being a lucky 5-1 victory. You get that. Anyway, guys, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. That was an awkward outro. I'll figure something out better next time with Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen in it. I am up on out of here.